Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of This Korean Life. This podcast is brought to you by Ox Smoke and Grill. No longer the hidden gem it once was, the Ulsan Ox Smoke and Grill branch is located in the Central Weave Zai building and offers amazing burgers, ribs, the best smoked meat in town, and don't forget about their apple slaw, bruh. They're open daily for lunch and dinner and also offer catering services for your next special event. Get your meat sweat on at Ox Smoke and Grill. This podcast is also brought to you by SEMA, one of Ulsan's favorite expat hangouts located in Samsandong, just minutes away from the department store. It's a great place to meet new people, enjoy a couple beverages on the patio, or dance the night away during one of its wild parties. Let Al and his staff show you how they like to get down. Open weekly, Thursday through Sunday. Check out their Facebook page for more information on upcoming events. Now, today's podcast, it was a pleasure to record, guys. Jeshurun is a man wise beyond his years. We speak about his studies at UNIST, his transition from Africa to Korea, stereotypes in Korea, life in Ghana, and his, I say this with complete sincerity, his eventual run for the president of Ghana in 2042. We tackle some controversial topics on here like the consumption of dog meat in Korea and religion. Really hope you guys enjoy.
You are now tuned into This Korean Life with your hosts, Brian and Nate.
Welcome, Jeshurun and Biney, to our podcast. I was wondering who Vaselined your arms to so you could leave your house today. Dude, listen, I haven't seen you in a year and a half, maybe?
Yeah,
a year and a half, 2 years?
No, maybe 2 years. The last time we watched the game was the
Oh, that's right. That was the
World Cup soccer game.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That was
Korea
versus
Serbia.
Serbia.
Serbia, yeah.
That's how long it's been.
I don't know, maybe 2 years or a year.
Been a hot minute.
I've seen a few of the other boys around. Maybe
That
I
was
just
before
haven't
I
seen
went
you for
to
a while.
Ghana. That's before I went to Ghana, so that's 2017.
Anyways, in Ghana, you're eating raw cacao trees, I think. Dude, your arms have doubled. Your arms have doubled in size. Jesus. Did you curl all of the weights over there? Holy smokes. Dude, what are you
That
doing?
can't be kimchi.
It's fufu.
What do you got in there?
All cups.
Jeez Louise, what are you doing, man? What kind of exercise routine are you on these days? And what's the reason for your I don't know if it's been sudden, but for your enlargement?
Sure.
I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, moved to Donggu. Apartment came with a gym in the basement, so yeah, it's not hectic.
She said, I'm not going to sleep anymore. I'm just going to do bench presses.
So second floor and then basement, so just
Or you just walk right down.
Yeah, just walk right down, so it's pretty much easy. And
Cool.
24/7, so
Awesome.
yeah,
That's
you
a
can
bonus.
just-
What do you have a goal? I know your friend, I can't remember his name, who used to do Dadzi used to do the competitions. Are you looking to get into competition form?
Yeah, I mean, like last week, there was a director who's into bodybuilding in here, so she met me and then she told me about it. She has a team, so she wants to introduce me to her team. So tomorrow I'm gonna meet her coach and then see if I just wanna for fun. Yeah.
How
Just make sure your speedos are a little bigger than Dadsy's.
is he wearing full budgie smugglers? Yeah. What? How long have you been? I mean,
Working out?
When I started working out, it was probably high school. Didn't take it very seriously. Now more into it. But you have a good build on you. How long have you been working out?
So high school I was an athlete, but yeah, I wasn't really building. And maybe just in a year, I just have a routine like 3 or 4 months in a year and I'm done. But I think probably genetics plays a huge role.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Cool.
because I've been with people who work out all season and then still. So I think it's probably genetics.
Cool.
Yeah.
What sports did you play in high school?
Can you pass me some of those genetics?
Jeez, you gotta be black. Yeah, I was a sprinter.
Yep.
Yeah, short distance, 110 meter hurdles. I used to also do the jumps, long jump, triple jump,
Yeah.
and then pretty much, and then soccer as well.
Yeah. Cool. That's
Who was the soccer team you followed?
Back in Ghana, EPL, Chelsea.
No, I mean in Ghana.
Ghanaian team.
Hearts of Oak?
Oh no, maybe Dwarfs because it was in my city. So yeah, and maybe Kotoko.
I used to live in Ghana for a while, so I followed the Porcupine Warriors and the Hearts of Oak for quite a long time.
They used to go to the stadium, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Wild times.
Anyways, dude, you're looking good, dude.
Thank you. I hope I can keep up.
And best of luck in the competition there. Let us know. We'll come cheer you on.
Sure.
Nate'll grease you up pre-competition.
Is this partially due to being graduated and having a lot more free time now?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, taking a break before I plan my next move, grad school probably. So.
You just finished your undergraduate?
No.
You just finished your master's?
No.
Your doctorate?
No, he finished his undergraduate 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years? Oh, okay.
So I plan to take a break for 2 years. So this August, I was planning to start my grad school.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you studying at UNIST?
I did chemical and bioengineering, double major.
Now, when you're applying for... man, this chocolate's giving me super phlegm. When you're applying for your master's degree, or I think you can do them in tandem, right? Your master's and your and your PhD. When you're going into the program, what are you looking for in a program?
So for research purposes. So the most important thing is what your research topic is. Yeah, so that's why I think it took me probably like a break, because it's you have to really decipher what you want to do before you go in, like spending 5 years of your time doing something you don't really like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would find it a waste of time, and then you have to find a good PI as a professor that you're gonna work with. You should be able to understand each other, not someone who's gonna give you stress. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, that's a big benefit being here, because we had a guy on recently, and he was from Pakistan, and he didn't know his professor coming here, came on a joint program, and now he's gonna leave after 2 years without the PhD, just the master's, because he's finding it hard to get along and hard to adjust to the system of,
and the professors are taking some of his money, and they're watching him. They expect him in the lab on Saturdays and Sundays with Skype open so they can watch him. Is this standard practice in Korea?
So the problem in Korea is like pretty much probably the same. Most foreigners have a hard time doing a PhD here, especially if they don't psych their mind up for it. That's why I talk about, having the right PI.
Yeah.
Because you have to know, who you're dealing with, and what you should expect from him, and what he also expects from you. And the work ethic culture in Korea is pretty much different. So
Absolutely.
Initially, I plan to go to the States because I've worked in the lab in the States, and it's totally different from here.
Yeah.
What are some of the big differences?
Like you just said, work is work, and there's like life outside the lab. But
Your
in
time
here,
is your time.
It
should be.
In here it's pretty much different. People see you work hard when you stay in the lab. So I used to work in the lab until maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. sometimes, which is normal in here. But in the States, it's.
But hold on, you said you work hard when you're in the lab, but were you working hard till 1 a.m.? Because I've been in the labs, and I've seen a lot of people not working hard till 1 a.m.
Yeah, so in biology, so working till 1 a.m. doesn't sometimes mean you've been in the lab since morning. But when you're taking care of cells, and I start the cell, maybe culture, and then I have to recheck them after like 12 hours.
Okay.
So some cells, like they're gonna, you have to change the media after 12 hours or 24 hours. So depending on the time you start, you have to be consistent. So
but that's not all the time.
But if you're working with cells, pretty much you have to be in the lab most of the time.
So have you been able to properly psych yourself up for the 5-year adventure?
I'm still. So I talked with the professor to let me do an internship for 6 months to get to know the condition. So that was the deal.
It's a smart move.
6 months, and then let's see if we able to get along, and then if I want to continue, then I join in the lab. If not, then I take another part.
And he's okay with that?
Yeah, so that's what we're working on right now. So,
That's good. That's a good step. Like we said, the previous guy jumped right in, and he's
that's
totally
the problem.
regretting
Yeah.
his decision.
But it sounds just smart, mature, and not so green, and that you've
Calculated.
learned a lot from your time here.
It's
Yeah,
a
so-
calculated approach, which is
And
good.
followed in some other guys' footsteps, probably, that have advised you or mentored you along the way.
Yeah, I met some people, like even during the Korean study program. I met this girl who started her PhD, and then after 3-4 months she quit. I met another guy from Ghana also who started his PhD and quit after 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, and came back to do a master. So I think that's
Another big problem he cited was the professors putting their name on all of his work.
yeah.
And that should be something, I think, if you're taking the 6 months to negotiate your terms of working. I think that might be something you want to implement in your contract or whatever.
Yeah, maybe,
that
yeah.
you get
Patent right and stuff. Yeah,
you get paid correctly, and I mean you get the notoriety for your work, right?
recognized. Yeah, for what. You
Yeah,
do.
absolutely. That's scary stuff, man.
But it's common if the professor is the one funding you, then definitely anything you publish is gonna be.
That's common only in Korea, or is that in the States?
Everywhere.
Oh,
I
no
mean,
way.
Yeah, but they're often listed as a co-author, not the main author, when they don't do anything.
But at the end of the paper, you find the names, and the last name is always the professor's name. So it should be. It should be.
Is
common.
he?
But in my understanding, they're not on the paper as the lead author. They're on as a co-author. Your name would be the lead author, and they're on as a co-author. But in Korea, they're the lead author, and you're the co-author, even though you did almost everything on the paper.
They're pretty much different. What I know is that people in the lab, like some other people in the lab who just free write, would put their names in as co-author or first author. Yeah, with you.
I wonder how much. I guess it depends how much they're kind of steering the ship. If they're really hands on in the
That's
lab,
what
then
we
it
said
should
last
be
time.
should be
It
should
depends
be
how
okay,
much
but-
input they have.
Yeah, they have.
Huh. Interesting. So, what? You've been here now 6 years?
7.
7 years in
almost,
Korea.
yeah. August is gonna be my 7th year.
Holy
flies.
You're a seasoned veteran.
Growing up
Yeah.
in Korea.
2012 and
Seasoned
then,
veteran.
Yeah, 2019.
So you were 19 when you came?
Yeah, I was 19 when I
Wow,
came.
unreal.
Where do you plan on going with, if you pursue this PhD, master's, combined degree? Where do you plan on going or taking it after? Or what's the end goal? What's the dream?
Yeah, so I just developed like this lab for diagnostics, creating like easily accessible medical devices, especially for also rural areas. Because my professor was working on lab on a disc where they make this like a CD, a little bit thick, and then you can spin it and you can, diagnose, like you have a special reader, they spin it for 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Yeah.
You can, diagnose that this person, has this or has that. So I thought about, if you send it to places like Africa where it may be healthcare and having to set up a big lab for diagnostics, then maybe we can run these in small places or anywhere, so we can, especially.
So did you say you have developed something, or you helped, or you're?
No, she was working on.
She was
That's her.
He was doing his undergrad. You
Okay.
can see what the professor.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. You wanna jump right into that and do you have any ideas now of different projects or any seeds of ideas that you want to develop in the future? So
Yeah, so I'm also looking forward to like maybe the diagnostics of malaria or something like that, like the back at home, what we suffer from a lot and what it's difficult to diagnose also, and then it all boils down to cost. So we have to make these items very cheap.
absolutely.
Yeah, production cost, and then also easily reproducible. Yeah, we plan to do it in such a way that we don't have to do it in only developed countries. Developing countries can also produce these medical devices as well.
Have you ever had malaria?
Probably, yeah, but not severe.
I've had it 5 times.
5 times, wow.
I didn't get it in Ghana. I got it in many other places, but I've never had it in Ghana.
There's different levels of malaria.
Different strains.
Different.
There's 5 strains, I believe.
Well,
Two
when he
of
said
them-
maybe I had it, it seems like the one's like a mosquito bite or like I have a stomach ache or diarrhea.
Yeah, I think your
And the
immune
other one
system
is-
also plays, because I've seen my brother having malaria, which is like very serious, like high
Okay,
temperature.
I almost died
Yeah,
in India.
yeah, like
I had a really bad one. But yeah, I believe there's 5 strains, and 3 of them are not overly harmful. You just take the pills for 2 days, whatever, and it's gone. One is a temporary strain, and one is a fatal strain. But the fatal strain is only in a few countries, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I had a dormant one that was staying in my liver.
Wow.
And I picked it up in either India or Vietnam, because I had it in India and then I had it again in Vietnam. I don't know if that was the same one that came back or a new strain. But mine ended up coming back in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So when I went in Canada and I had malaria, they thought I was from outer space. They said, where have you been? What country were you in? And I said, I just came back from like a 26 country tour for 2 years. And they said, maybe we can't. So they're going through each country looking at which strains are in each country. Anyways, I said, listen, I know more than you guys. This is my 5th time having this. And my family was worried, and my brother had put me in the basement already and said, you're quarantined. He didn't know. And I said, come on.
Malaria,
and he had some young boys, and I was taking care of.
It's not transferable between people?
No. Unless there's the Gorea, that's the mosquito.
The mosquito has to bite me and bite you, but it was the middle of the winter in Canada. So they said, how the hell did you get malaria? Most people are going to Mexico, the Dominican and stuff. And
he was on the plantains. He was on the plantains he brought back.
I think
the
it was
frozen
one of the
plantains.
first recorded cases in like 20 or 30 years or something. So the doctor even said, I got a young Doogie Howser, and he said, tell me everything you know, because we don't experience it. And I said, well, in Africa and in parts of Asia, this is like having the flu. It's nothing. Do you remember a song? I don't know if it was around. You're pretty young still. When I was there, they had a song in Ghana, and it said, it went to the tune of On the 12 Days of Christmas. On the first day of malaria, pop a pink pill. On the second day of malaria, pop, and then on the 3rd day, pop a green pill, and you're good. And that's what it was like. People didn't care when you got a malaria. You knew it. After the first time. When I learned about it was from the Peace Corps, volunteers from the States. They said, don't take Lariam, don't take Mefloquine, all the crazy stuff. When you get it, you'll know. And I said, come on, how do you know? After that, the next 4 times, I knew within minutes.
Yeah, if you...
Holy shit, I got it. Go take the pills, you're done. But when you get the semi-permanent strain, and it sleeps in one of your organs, then you have to take a different kind of medicine or a stronger medicine. So, anyways, I didn't think malaria is like sneezing in Canada or America. It was common. Nobody got worried or scared about it. And the only thing that did surprise me was that was one of the leading causes of death was not from malaria. It was from the blood transfusions. And that people couldn't get to the hospital. It's not that, many people get it and survive it, but when your blood count gets so low, you got to get blood transfusions, and they got to do them in the rural countryside because they don't have enough money, and that's when the problems start to happen.
So so
it's kind of indirectly related.
Are you telling him his hopes for a master's?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought a malaria diagnosing one. When I had it in India, I literally crawled into like this guy's hut. He pricked my finger and said, "Strain B, take this." Done. Within 5 minutes. And also when I got it, I think I was in Benin or Niger when I got it, and the same thing. It was a quick. So I don't know how much faster, maybe more accurate, or I don't know what else they could be.
Yeah, more accurate. That's the thing. And now it's also most of this research. So malaria is just like the tip of the iceberg.
Sure.
But this research goes deeper, especially into cancer, because these days it's a main problem. Yeah. Because people are getting cancer and stuff, and sometimes diagnosis takes really long time, and they're not sure. So it goes deeper than just malaria.
Sure.
I'm just looking at malaria because it's Africa.
Common,
yeah.
But dengue, what was the one last year in Liberia or something? Was it dengue?
Ebola.
Yeah, same thing. And for any of those, if you can get something fast, make a big difference.
No doubt. Cool. So again, sorry, you cut off there. You've been here for 7 years. You left home at 19 years old.
Yeah, 19 years old.
We always talk about Canadian, like any age, like a Canadian 20 versus a Korean 20, and we thought, or we agree. I think in Canada you grow up a little faster. You're a little more independent at a young age. At 19 years old, I was in my second year of university and not anywhere near mature enough to be in an international country. How did you feel? How did you feel coming over here at 19 years old? Were you mentally prepared for to live on your own and study on your own apart from your family? Personally, I would have crashed and burned. I'm so happy I hung on at 22.
I don't think anyone can be mentally prepared at 19 to be going from Africa to anywhere in Asia.
But I don't know. I don't know how you guys are raised.
Sink or swim, man.
Are you very independent from a young age, or do you? I mean, much like the Koreans, do you rely on family for absolutely everything until you're 30, and you just happen to make it out? Like, what's the how did you feel coming to an international country?
Let me give him one quick story. Bempa and Umar.
Yeah.
They had just come, and it was in March, and I was walking down the hall at the university, and there was two black guys. So I knew they were from Ghana because that was the only Africans at the school. And they were looking at their paper and looking up at the classrooms and wondering where they were. And I said, "Etienne!" And they went, huh? And they looked down and saw me, a big foreigner, coming down the hall, speaking greetings from their country, and they were wearing like I thought they were in the top of Mount Everest, the clothes they had on, and it was March, so it was probably 15 degrees, and they looked like they were on the top of Mount Everest, and I thought, oh my God! And they said, if you can please help us, we're late, we're 2 weeks late for the semester because we couldn't get our visa problems and this and that, and they were. I just thought, oh my God! I don't know what yours is like, but their first couple of days must have been an absolute shock.
Yeah. So I think it depends. It boils down to individuals, because maybe someone else 19 or also same from Ghana wouldn't be able. But I think high school also kind of prepared me for that, because we're kind of used to staying outside home. I mean, we go to the dormitory.
For high school?
Yeah, for high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so
how far from your home?
Depends on where your school is. I was lucky my city had the best school, so I didn't have to travel.
Oh, okay.
So my parents were like, so I could run home, I mean, after a couple of weeks. But some people live like 2 hours, 3 hours away.
Okay, so it's harder. Maybe once a month or so.
Yeah, they only get home like just one time in the semester, so.
Cool.
So being in high school, I think that brought some form of independence, and also I liked being independent myself. In high school, I started like business. I was making like designs and stuff. I started a design company where I printed T-shirts and brochures and stuff. So I was making some
young entrepreneur.
Yeah, to start with. So I think my dad saw I was kind of okay, because on the other hand, my sister, I don't think she would be allowed, or she would have even taken the risk to leave Ghana. I mean, like even if she was 21, because my parents, I mean, in terms of food and everything, like she wasn't really prepared. Yeah. But
she doesn't have guns like this to
protect
her.
Yeah.
Are you from Accra?
No, I'm from Cape Coast.
Cape Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's close to where I was.
Yeah, it's very close. So. Yeah, so I think my dad. So I asked him like, "You think I'm okay?" Because first I was planning to go to the States to study, and then this Korean opportunity came about with scholarship and every other thing. And then so I asked like, "Are you sure? You want me to go?" It's like, yeah. I mean, Korea is developed and it's becoming. I mean, rising superpower.
Rising country.
How did this opportunity come up, and did you know that? I mean, when I came a long time ago, but I didn't know anything about South Korea. It was all about Japan and China, China being a huge country and Japan being a very developed country. I just knew it was in between, and I knew it wasn't North Korea, so it must have been okay. But I
thought it was horses and dirt roads.
I didn't know everything. Like, do you guys really know? I mean, the K-pop and the dramas, maybe they've infiltrated Ghana. I don't know, but how did you really know lots about here before coming?
No, I don't know much about Korea actually, but I just found the brochure in my high school.
No way.
of the university. So the university happened to send brochures to a lot of places. And
For
then,
UNIST?
Yeah, for UNIST.
No way.
Because the UNIST was new, so I think they were trying to
Recruit,
so they sent to many
recruit
high
the best,
schools.
youngest minds. Eh?
Yeah, my high school was one of the best in Ghana, so we happened to get the brochure. I saw it, I read, and I went on the internet to search about it.
Yeah.
I saw it was pretty new. I saw the facilities, and I checked up on the scholarship, and it was pretty good. So before I even graduated high school, I had gotten into UNIST.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I made the decision pretty much easy because now I didn't have to take SAT or TOEFL or any of the other stuff.
So do you say, hey boys, let's go? Why don't you guys sign up too? Or was there a limit in how many Ghanaians they would take? Or
No, I mean it was open, but my friends were like, I mean, like you said, most people didn't know anything about like.
Well,
Asia.
that's like us coming to teach, right? Hey, why would you get a teaching job at home? You can just fly to Korea and roll the dice, you know.
yeah, but a full scholarship. I mean, that's not easy. Look at now, right? I mean, that's not easy to find.
Yeah.
And there's so many students from all over the world competing for free international education. I mean, that's not easy to find.
Yeah, so my friends were like, man, you're gonna be in Asia, man. These guys study like crazy and stuff. You think you're gonna be able to do that and stuff? Like, you see, you don't know much about. Like, they're like, man, like, I don't think it's gonna be easy. Then they were laughing at me like back then, like, you're gonna go to Asia, ha 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 ha.
Now they're driving chochos.
Yeah, I mean, the life brings.
Chocho's a tuk-tuk?
Yeah, it's like
communal public transportation.
A jeepney?
Yeah, like a jeepney.
Okay.
So, yeah.
it's just more like the vans here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
They're Hagwon vans.
yeah, probably.
Okay,
yeah,
Hagwon
With
bus.
double the people.
Yeah.
So hold on, Dave.
And some goats on the roof.
So it's funny. Hold on, for anyone listening at home, we just threw jeepney, tuk-tuk. What's your friend's name? Chocho.
Your friends.
And sorry, no, the Chocho and a Hagwon van. And I can imagine people at home are scratching their head. A form of transportation. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Some have 3 wheels, some have 4, some have goats on the roof.
So were you part of the first Ghanaian students to come to UNIST? How much earlier did Eugene come, or were you in the first group, or was that there was already a couple of of your older classmates who had come here? So
probably in my year group, I was the first, but two people were here prior to me. The 2 years, that was the first time UNIST recruited international students. So UNIST started off about a year or two before they started bringing in international students. So they told me there were like 2 Ghanaians in there before I came. So they asked me if I wanted to contact them. So I had some prior information talking to
Charlie.
2 people like over here. How is the
Charlie.
system like? How is it like? And they said a lot of good stuff about it. So
Cool.
it made my decision quite easy to
Awesome.
to just come.
But I mean, I think it must be an easier adjustment for us coming, than because I mean I also lived there for quite a while, and I mean if you talk to them, they must have said there's no fufu, kenke, banku. I mean that would be like, I mean for us we can go buy meat and make hamburgers. We can, but I mean making your foods. I mean we've had a couple dinners together. It's not easy, and you're not going to do all that work for just 1 or 2 people. So that would be a major alarm right there, no?
Yeah, but I mean, I
But at
think
19, you're still pretty malleable, right? You can adjust to your surroundings. I think a 50-year-old Korean Hajashi going on vacation to Canada without ramyeon or without kimchi, and that's hard.
Anchovies,
Even I mean even. Do you have a dried squid? Hold on, I got 2 in my back pocket. Let me eat these during a movie. No, even my wife. We just returned from Canada, and after a week, it's. Maybe let's go to the Korean restaurant. I wouldn't mind some kimchi. And honestly, it's kind of comforting for me as well to eat something that's not fried or full of sugar. But I think at 19, maybe it's easy. Maybe it's a new.
What was your diet like before you came? Because when I was, I was eating fufu, kenke, banku, and peanut soup, spicy soup, or the other soup.
Peanut soup?
That's what we eat every single time.
I mean,
Good
it's
Lord.
very different. Like
Sounds
food.
delicious.
Yeah, but then I think.
So were you eating burgers and chicken every day? Like that stuff didn't even exist where I was.
No, but like I said, one one reason my parents actually were also okay with me leaving back. They saw, I mean, I wasn't really picky with food. I could adjust easily and stuff. So back at home, I could eat anything. Because even in Ghana, we have like so many dishes.
Bushmeat. What's this? Bushmeat. What kind of bushmeat?
So many dishes, right? Because it's like multicultural, let's say, because many people from different parts of Africa migrated. Everyone has their
cool. I didn't know.
own special
Ghana's
It's the
the
safest-
Canada of Africa.
No, it's the safest country in West Africa for ages and ages. The Ivory Coast was in war. Togo, Benin were in war. Liberia, Sierra Leone, they've all had their own civil wars for ages.
You guys stayed.
Ghana was the safe haven for a long time, and it's an English Christian country, and
So
that's how I ended up there, because that was the only safe place.
Yeah, because you were working in UN camp, right? Peacekeeping camp, so.
And all the refugees were French, and I spoke French, so they were all in Ghana. So
So but pretty much, so I mean, if you're able to, even in that community, if you're able to still not be picky because you have like a wide range of access to food, and then if you're able to get used adapt to them, then it's pretty much easy for you to.
God, we used to take a trotro like hours and hours to Accra just to get a Nando's pizza. Like, once every 3 months we go Nando's, and what was the other place called? Castle?
Pizza Inn and stuff.
And man, you could get a burger and a pizza in the same weekend and go back, and you'd be set for 3-4 more months.
Diarrhea for
great.
diarrhea for a week.
Yeah, but it's like been 10 years. How many years?
Long, yeah.
Things are, when I went back home, I mean, things are very different now. It's like it's not that much different from Korea.
It's really westernized.
I think that's the internet, right? You can watch a couple of cooking shows on YouTube, or change a little fusion, change it up a little bit. Yeah.
So when I went back, like, I mean, people are pretty much used to Western food now. I mean, KFC and everything. I mean, back home then. So when I just wanted something.
Cape Coast,
KFC in Accra.
Yeah, okay.
But it's pretty much
Accra, Kumasi maybe, but
pretty much easy to get.
The plague is spreading.
Yeah, pretty much easy to get these franchises everywhere these days. So.
Jeez Louise.
What were some of the biggest shocks when you got here?
I mean, the weather, because I wasn't really used to winter. So
this is hotter than Africa here, man.
Yeah, and it was hotter. It was hotter in summer here than back at home. So I mean, I was shocked because people always think like.
I mean, even it's a common.
Yeah, they think
it's a common phrase. It's a common saying, like, "Oh my God, it's hotter than Africa."
It's hotter than. So I mean, it was crazy because I mean, people back at home also think, I mean, like outside Ghana, I mean, there's nowhere hotter. But then I just found out, like, I mean...
Ulsan, South Korea.
Yeah, summer here. It's pretty hot, so the weather and then...
You gotta watch, your pipes will melt away.
Temperature difference is very crazy, you know, like...
Wait, is it the... How hot does it get? Is it 30s, mid-30s, high
30s? Yeah, 33. I mean, I live by the coast, so it's not that, I mean, like...
Is the humidity like we have here?
No, it's not
that's
that
the problem.
humid.
It's much drier.
Yeah, If it was that humid, then it would be crazy. But
that's what kills me here. Yeah. You can't midsummer.
It's a full day shower all day long.
Yeah, I mean, back at home, I can just go under a tree or go relax under some shade, and I'll be fine. I wouldn't be sweaty like here. But in here, even when you, I mean, inside the room or you like under a shade or something
Swamp
like that, you're gonna still sweat.
It's so funny, like trying to explain to family at home, like literally walking from my house to my car, which is 25 meters, 30 meters away. You're sweating.
Yeah.
By the time you get in your car, you're sweating, and inside your car is hotter than a sauna, and it takes 4 minutes before it cools down. And you go to your class, and your armpits are soaked, and it's really.
But it must be what it's like for these guys being in Canada in the middle of December, January, February at minus 30, minus 40.
Yeah, I mean,
how did you survive your first winter?
Yeah,
was it totally shocking? Was that the first time you've ever felt 2 degrees, 5 degrees?
Yeah, I mean, it was cold compared back at home. But then I also found out, I mean, like during that time, I tend to go into hibernation. I'm not that much productive. Yeah, because like it was, so I'll prefer to stay in the room where I'll get some warmth than to go outside. You know, like what is there to do outside in winter? You know, nothing much apart from, I mean, like just
survive.
Yeah. So we couldn't really play soccer like like actively in the winter, so
Yeah.
sport activities, and it's easy to gain for me. So I would,
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool.
and
cool,
then
cool.
food also was like a culture shock because I wasn't used to eating rice every day, or at least 3 times in a day. So it was also like I thought, I mean, the food here was really different because back at home is tropical, so we have this, I mean, like wide array of foodstuffs that we can.
And different colors. Not everything's red, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like wide array, for stuff like that. So it was much I don't know, shocking.
Yeah.
And then I just needed that. Yeah. But it was okay. I could adjust. I mean, with in terms of food, and then
that's the important thing, and that's I think why you continue to thrive here. You're able to adapt to your to the surroundings or to the situations, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not only have you been a student, but an active teacher as well. I think it's not so easy for international students to get teaching jobs, but you guys have
Paved the way.
paved the way, absolutely, and done a good job, as we've worked together before.
Yeah. And then the system of like everything being fast, you know, I mean, I'm sure in Canada is also even not the same. Like in Korea, everything was like,
Oh, this is in fast forward.
probably fast track, you know, like you order something, it's at your doorstep the next day, you go to work, like everything. Like
The Chinese food delivery, when I was living in the one room, I swear to God, they were on the first floor. They must have been cooking underneath me, man. It was there, or they knew, they had some sense that I was going to order.
you know,
it was there.
Everything is so fast.
How
here.
can you prepare a meal and deliver it in 4 minutes?
We used to order a pizza at home, me and my brothers, only when there was snowstorms or thunderstorms.
'Cause it comes
and
free.
we'd turn off all the lights, and Little Caesars was 30 minutes or it's free. 30 minutes or it was free. And we'd turn off all the lights, and we'd put a couple snowballs over the address and hope that the guy couldn't find it. We'd be like, 28, where is he? 30 minutes, it's free.
Wow, that's
And,
good.
and in Korea, you know, you can order a bowl of chicken noodle soup for $4 or $5, and it comes within
6 minutes.
6 minutes, and the guy has to come back and get the dishes.
Yeah, has to come back and get the dishes.
It's
Like,
incredible.
yeah, it's really
That
surprising.
was shocking for me. Even when my dad came to visit, he's like, "Why are there bowls all over people? Why do they leave their dirty dishes outside?"
I was like,
Yeah, it's just
And
you
it's
gotta
not
put that
it's not
in
like they always do that. I mean, they throw out a lot of styrofoam and plastic stuff here. It's amazing that those guys, you know, it's still economical to come back and get the dishes. It's great for the environment, but
yeah, it's not that expensive also. So I wonder. I mean, like,
and
delivery.
most things are local too, right?
one shop within 1 kilometer is 10,000 people, so they're not going far to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's zip here, zip there on those scooters, and it's done.
Yeah, in Ghana things are significantly slower paced.
Slower,
Is that the-
yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
You can taste your food.
What's that called? Ghana time?
Yeah, Ghana man time. It's like, especially for healthcare, like, I was surprised. I mean, like, technically in Korea, within 5 to 10 minutes, you can go to a hospital, see a doctor, and then
Absolutely.
get your medication. But no.
I mean, that's from putting on your shoes to diagnosis and getting your and
10,
receiving
10
your
minutes. One time I timed it, you know, like I went, I'm like, wow, in 10 minutes I was able to see the doctor, and then
Yeah.
they're just fast, like they want to get done with. I mean, it has its disadvantages because, I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, I think back in the West, people want to take their time and make sure everything is done.
Yeah.
But here it's all about time, you know.
Time is
Time
money.
is money,
man.
yeah. So save time and then so.
And a lot
But
of
that's what I really liked about Ghana was that it was like slow motion, and nobody was in a hurry, and you know, greetings are important, and how's your family, and talk a little bit, and it was so slow. And one reminds me of the public transportation.
Yeah.
The what do you call them? The trotro lots, and you have to wait there until the van's full before you leave.
Before it leaves. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how rich you were. The 99% of people took the same form of transportation between cities. Buses, I never. There wasn't much choice of buses when I was there. It was all trotros, and you could take a what do they call it?
Taxi?
Like a charter or whatever. You could pay a little more for a smaller car with only 4 seats and aircon, and it goes faster. But even middle class and upper class people taking the trotros, you might have to wait an hour for it to fill. So, for example, we're going from Toronto to Montreal.
Yeah.
You go to the station, you sit down, and you wait until all 12 seats are full. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 3 hours.
Jeez.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, so I was pretty much used to. I mean, like keeping to study and then like going at a slower pace. But then so I had to really adjust, which was I'm still adjusting to this fast system as well.
I think the health system here too is a little sped up because, I mean, if you're going to a little local clinic, that's all private, right?
Yeah,
and the more patients they see, the more money you get, the more drugs they sell, the bit. What about back home? Is it a national? You have the
most hospitals are public, so
okay.
so you have a couple of people. You know, you have to go to the OPD, like
Cool.
the outpatient department. So it's like so many people, and the doctor to people ratio wasn't that high by the time I was back home. Maybe now it's pretty much different.
Yeah.
So but in here there are a lot of private clinics, like a mile away or something like that. So it's pretty much easier and access to healthcare.
Cool.
So he was talking about you were getting into teaching. I don't know what we got sidetracked there, but what? How did your teaching career take off?
I mean, back in school, you know, like sometimes like we saw gigs being posted, like they needed someone to sub in for them or just like play with kids. Started, I mean, just cultural training. So some Korean moms were interested in, I mean, getting their kids to be open-minded. I mean, meet people of the diversity. So they, especially kids, are really curious at that age. So we started playing with them, play soccer, bicycle, do a cultural thing, introduce them to our food and stuff, and they really liked it. So on weekends we used to mentor the kids and like do a lot of activities, fun-filled activities. And then,
cool.
Yeah. Was that sounds too easy? Was that through the church? Because most of the places I go and families I know wouldn't be so welcoming.
Yeah, probably much. Yeah, most of them. But I mean,
did you get your feet wet in the church and then you branched out to doing your own private stuff and gigs here and there, or?
So you meet someone who's really close to you, or one mom who's
and
really open-minded, and they introduce you
Right.
to the other moms. And once they see that, then they become open as well.
Yeah.
So one person introduces you, and then another recommends you, and then it goes on from there.
That's that's good, man. That's the same. One of the first private students that I had, the dad openly admitted later on, he's like, Brian, I didn't trust you, man. He goes, you skinhead.
Yes.
And I went, dude, I'm not, I don't have any swastikas tattooed on my body.
But it's funny, right? The last guy was Pakistani. They think he's a terrorist. He's a skinhead, and
black.
You're black. Oh my God. All the crazy stereotypes. So it's good that they're warming up and opening up a little bit and diversifying. So that's good.
Yeah, 7 years ago, it wasn't like this. I'm sure when you guys came to it was people. In Ulsan, it's a little bit different. I mean, when I went to other cities, I mean, in Busan and Seoul, a lot of people are open to foreigners and Daegu and stuff. But
absolutely,
Ulsan is a little bit also different as well.
It was 2010. Yeah, 2010. I mean, before that, there was one black male in Ulsan, and his name was Edmund, and he worked at the shipyard for Total, and he was from France.
No, there's a couple teachers here too. I remember in 2007 walking into Purple Haze and going, oh, like it wasn't a conscious thought, but like, oh my God, it's the first black guy I've seen since I've been here.
But I mean, I came in 2003, and until 2010, there was virtually no black-skinned people here. I mean, there was a few here and there, but in 2010, the Minister of Education was going to end up losing his position. He had to make drastic changes to keep his job for the second term. So he said, we're putting a foreign teacher in every school, elementary school and middle school, high school, like they did in Seoul. And that was going to get him reelected, to put this mandatory foreign teacher in every school. When they did that, they hired 230 teachers at once. Oh. And when they did that, you can't control. You can't say only this, only that. The private schools would say, send me your picture. Sorry. Just facial profiles. And when they did that, that came with it used to be Canadian, Australian, Kiwis predominantly. And when that happened, man, tons of Brits, tons of Americans. And there was probably 25 or 30 African-American teachers in that first intake.
No.
And that changed all of Ulsan in 2010 like that. It was in public school. All the kids said, hey, I got a new teacher. He's awesome. And all of a sudden it changed the whole mentality of the city.
And even from the private school perspective as well, it was more open, and parents are more willing to accept
Because
it.
the government did it. They can't fight it. They can't change it. It's there. They're English speaking from English countries, and that's it. There's nothing. But in a private school, the mothers would always cause problems. So yeah, I now it's much different. But you guys have also done a good job paving the way for future
And being good ambassadors, man. You guys are
future
real.
guys coming over.
Anyway, sorry, just to get off that for a sec. You said you were introduced to some classes or initially teaching through the church.
Yeah.
What is for your generation of Ghanaians, what do you and your friends think about religion? Are you guys deeply religious? I know at home, me and Nate, I think both raised Catholic, but I mean, we went to Catholic. I think I was put in Catholic school because it's a better funded. They receive more funding from the government. I went through the steps without ever really believing in Jesus or God. It was just kind of going through the motions. The teacher says we're going to church, we're doing that. For your generation of Ghanaians, what's the belief, or what's your stance on religion?
I mean, religion has been with humanity for ages.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and I think the more educated you get, the more you're able to decipher. Tell what is being put in place to restrict people, and what is actually yeah. So
Okay.
We've been more open-minded. I tend to say Christianity isn't a religion. I tend to classify it differently from other religions, because I find it's a personal relationship with God, and it's much different. But then also the education is really important, especially to talk about, because a lot of people are taking advantage back at home over people's ignorance. And using religion
as a medium
to extort people,
Yeah.
because they find out that when people believe in something, they go all in out for it.
Absolutely.
But then when you're educated, you're able to tell what this person is doing. So I tend to apply wisdom to certain things. I wouldn't just believe a pastor or something like that just for some people just give portions out.
Give me $10,000. I'll tell Jesus you were a good man.
And
That's what it was like when I was there. This church, the Pentecostal church, has free shirts. Everybody's Pentecostal this week. Next week, the Methodist church has bread and fufu. Okay, this week I'm Methodist, and there was a lot of that switching and changing based on what they were giving away this month or this week or whatever.
People turn to move towards to what benefits them, even in religion or in outside religion or anything.
In life.
In life, if these people find out, okay, this Hagwon or this educational system is pretty much cheap, and then offering the same thing as this is, doing, they would tend to switch and go there. So,
and in less developed places, the short term is way more important than the long term.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely.
Anything that can benefit me today, I'm not thinking about tomorrow. That's the thing that I learned there, that
Good
people
point,
aren't thinking about 6 months later. I don't have any dinner for my kids today, and they have dinner for me, and I'm gonna go and get it, and that was it. So,
and in terms of religion, the foundation is also very, very important. It depends on how you get introduced. Like you said, you were raised Catholics, but you were mostly in also because the Catholic schools and stuff.
Benefits?
Benefit in Ghana also, when the British or the white colonizers came, they built schools. So actually, what started, active religion was because they established schools. So the Methodists had schools, the Pentecostal had schools, the Catholics had schools, and they tried to bring the kids also through in Christ. But also, maybe some people's foundation were not really that strong, especially in terms of, because they're just going to school. There's a school feeding program or something like that. Students are being fed. So their mindset is a little bit much different also. They didn't choose what they wanted to do.
Wanted to do.
Many people
rather went that way because of the benefits.
Ghana's population is probably 60 to 70% Christians. Many people are born that way. They don't really choose they chose. So it's much easier for them to.
That's the whole world, though, right? No no 7-year-old chooses, I think I'm going to be Jewish. It's kind of what your parents
Yeah, what your
did
parents
or
do, and
whatever.
then so but then after 15, 16, 18, that's when you're mature to decide, am I going to continue in this? I mean, depends on what you've had so far, your experiences and that.
So what kind of role did the church play in your transition to Ulcenter? When did you say it's important for the foundation? I'm curious. There's not many options here, especially for English services.
Yeah.
You're very limited. So how did you find a connection here, and how early or upon your arrival did you connect with the church, and how important of a role has it been in your stay here?
So yeah, anywhere I moved to, I mean, even since I've been to Korea, when I went to the state, anywhere I moved to, I first of all, like within the first few weeks, I tried to find like
A gym.
yeah, that second, proximity of a gym is really important too. Yeah, but I try to find a community, like
Absolutely.
people I can have the same, mindset with, and believe and stuff. It could be church, it could be like a sports community, working out and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I came here, luckily, those who were already here had found a church that they were going to, and then so. When I landed in Korea on Saturday. The next day, Sunday, I was in church.
Wow.
And so I play the musical instrument. I play the bass, so it's also easy for me, like, to
Get involved.
Yeah, if I find something that committed doing, then I find a reason also to be in, even when sometimes I don't want to.
And you're contributing to the
to
the thing. That's awesome.
So what is
find your place.
What is it? Is it an English service that you go to, and or did you just connect because you were playing the bass and they needed a bass player?
So even actually when I went there first,
Jesus needs bass. Turn up the bass.
Yes, I just joined with the notion of it being a church, because I wasn't even playing bass back in Ghana. I was playing the keyboard. But when I went,
How many instruments do you play? I feel so stupid, man. Honestly, I come to Korea and there's kids play like, teacher, I play the piano and the violin, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I very terribly play the guitar. I play like 3-4 chords. And then he told me about you guys playing
in the band. They have the whole band now, or they have for a
you
while.
guys played at the orphanage, right?
yeah, we played it.
And he said there's a bass player and a keyboard, and I told him like, that's amazing that that there was one keyboardist and one bassist and one guitarist and one singer. He goes, no, they all play all the instruments. And I went, oh, all right. So today keyboard, tomorrow the drums.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, we tend to switch sometimes. Yeah.
No way.
So when I was in Daejeon, for instance, when I go to Daejeon, I found a church and there was no drummer. So yeah, I had to shift into.
But how? I mean, how does was it a Korean run church, or I believe you go with George and them, right? Is it an English service?
Yeah, English service. So it used to be until this year. It used to be an English worship service. For a Korean church. So they have a Mongolian worship service and an English worship service. But until this year, about 4 months ago, the English church became independent of the Korean church. So every administration is being run by the foreigners and the pastor. So we turned to make decisions. But before, decisions were
Made by the Korean.
made by the Korean church.
It's still in the same place though.
It's still in the same place. Yeah. So they offered to give us, the room for the service, they could host us, but we decide what to do with the money, the funds, and how to run the service.
For anyone in Ulsan who's listening who wants to join, or what's the name of the new? I know originally it was Shimin.
It was Shimin Church.
Shimin Church. Now it's
Journey Church. Yeah.
And who's the pastor there? Is it Konet?
Yeah, Pastor Konet. Yeah.
Cool.
And what kind of church is it?
It's a charismatic liberal church, not like Pentecostal or
not strict denomination.
Yeah, no, it's interdenominational.
And that's why you said you have to connect with the pastor and everybody. That here, there's not many choices. Many people go because it's the only option. Yeah, and they feel comfortable. They feel good there, so they want to go, and they can't pick and choose or be picky about who the pastor is or who, because there's no options.
Yeah, there are not many.
Everyone's there for the same reason, though, right? So I guess it's not. See, it's funny. My image of church, going as a youngin, during when I was in school, you go in and the pastor, the priest he's above. He's above you. It's not someone you talk to. It's not someone you connect with. It's you go in like he talks, and then you get the lesson, and then you go.
And then you go, no questions asked, like that.
Yeah, it's like a maybe you can equate him to like a Korean lecturing professor who just stands there. He downloads his information into you, and then you go home and try and more deal with it. You know?
That's why I think it's awesome. You guys playing all the instruments in a band and stuff is cool.
But that's kind of the cool thing about the Korean church is that they're smaller. I think the level of she would be a pastor. Is that her thing?
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a direct conversation with her, and I'm having problems with this. Can you help me? And that's a great for people coming over who are religious and are looking for community. It's a great thing to have.
The thing is with these days churches, you don't have to actually even be religious. I mean, we have a lot of people coming in there like with different reasons. Yeah, like some people turn to just come to.
It's a support network.
Yeah,
a support group
to learn English. Technically, some Koreans come, to listen to English, stuff. And people also come to find a community. We have games night. We have potluck, like pastor cooks and invites us.
Even in my early years, there were lots of Ulsan Day students, or our friend Lensky, he and John, and they would hey bro, let's go for a buffet.
Yeah, free food or something.
Let's go for a buffet at the church. I went, I don't know if I want to. I had reservations about going there, but it was still totally open and
the owner of Namaskar.
Yeah,
that was one of his saving graces here, was joining the church. That's where he got support, and he met and connected with many very important people that
he said
kind of mentored his life.
He wasn't necessarily religious, but he met all of the guys from SK
he wasn't Christian at all.
Yeah,
I remember being in Singapore. And I met a couple of young guys from India in one of the hostels. And they said, they told me they were there looking for IT jobs. And I didn't understand. They didn't have any money. They were very poor. And I said, how can you guys afford to be here for this long? And they said, well, we don't have to pay for food. We only pay for our hostel here. And I said, how do you eat for free? And they said, come with us. And I said, well, where do you go? And they said, we go to the Sikh temple. And at the Sikh temple, everybody eats for free. And they said, we don't eat breakfast. We go there for lunch and dinner. So I went there, and I went for dinner with them. And same thing. They're the most welcoming people around. And you get there, okay, I got to put a turban on. But they don't care. They just want you to put a head covering on. They have their rules or whatever. You put your head covering on or your turban. You go in, you get free food, and in turn, you should help either wash the dishes or serve some food or whatever. And everybody does something different. They accept donations from people that can afford it, and others who can't. You contribute in another way, if it's cleaning or serving or hosting or whatever. So I took advantage of that free meal service, buffet service in other countries as well.
Yeah, that's
if you look in the Bible, originally that's how church was supposed to be. It's supposed to be a community to help people. Because back in the days, no one really kept properties. Like trying to hide everything. Everyone brought what they had and they shared with the community. But these days, it's a little bit different. But we still have churches that are sticking to what is supposed to be done. But some people just
when we grew up, the church was a very communal place, and I remember always coffee and donuts and bazaars and events and Halloween. It was a great place to hang out and meet friends and family and stuff. The priest was never overly interesting because we were too young, but Sunday school was always fun, and the communities or the hall after was always full of good socializing with neighborhood friends.
I was poo-pooing on the Korean churches when I was in Canada. In Montreal and in Quebec, they have the Notre Dame. Is that right?
Yeah.
Quebec, what is it? Notre Dame de Quebec?
Cathedral, yeah.
The cathedral, yeah. Man, as a non-religious person, I walked in and I went, whoa, dude, it has a different feeling, or you get a sense of something in there. And when I was in there, I told my wife, like, this is how church should be. This is a church. And I said, that second floor in Mugadong, that little box of a thing where the one guy's preaching, But I have to take that statement back now, because it's not about the building that you're in, but it's about connecting, I think, with the community. Yeah. So,
but the buildings do hold a lot of emotions and feelings. I mean, there's no question when I walked into the main cathedral in Mexico City and all over when you go in, and the mud mosque in Jenne in Mali.
What's a mud mosque?
It's the biggest mud structure in the world. It's a mosque made of mud in Jenne, and in the Taj Mahal.
You just don't wipe your feet before you go in.
When you go in those places, you go, wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the walls could tell stories, I mean, thousands and thousands of years of history and story. I mean, some of those places just blow my mind.
Yeah. But it is, dude, when it comes down to it, though, it's not about I think the biggest the biggest steeple or the coolest stained glass, but the people who are in there connecting with each other. Right?
Unless you're Joel
Osteen. Fuck it, I'll buy a stadium. Give me a stadium. Oh my God, the hurricanes washed out half the people in our city. Get out. Lock the doors.
That's a little more commercialized version of the church.
Yeah, these day stuff.
Guy's got a nice grill though, doesn't he? Anyways, moving on here. What when you said you traveled back home?
Yeah, I was back home 2 years ago, 2017 December until 2018 February.
When you go home, what are people most surprised about your life here?
I mean, they were surprised that I had been away for like a long time. You know, I stayed 5 years before I initially went home. Yeah. So they were like, "Oh man, you've been away for quite a long time." Yeah. You know, my appearance, everything was very different. Very different. I mean,
your arms are triple the
size. I had gotten bigger. They were like, "Well, what have you been doing? I mean, what have you been eating?"
Korean fufu.
Yeah. Have you been working out? Like, do you want to be a bodyguard like that? Because some people they hadn't met my dad.
The built-in vest.
Yeah, so they didn't know my dad even had a son, like who was outside, because they had just met him within the last 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
So they thought like, "Oh, you got yourself a new bodyguard now." Like he looks like he's protecting you or something.
And he looks like you too. But what I mean, when you go back and you're telling stories, people are asking about your life. What surprises people the most? For me, if I talk about some of the food that I've tried, or the super fast-paced culture, or
the traditions that we get from being married and being involved in the families.
Absolutely. Or again, very funny sauna stories from the sauna. Have you been? Sorry, just to cut it for a second. Have you been to a Korean sauna?
Not really. So I just last time I was in Seoul and all hotels were booked, so I just decided to book.
Sleep in the Jimjilbang?
Yeah, Jimjilbang. But that was like I just went in, slept, wrote my exam, and came back. But I've heard pretty interesting stories about Jimjilbang. You know, someone's like, you just have to try it one time.
Oh yeah. Okay,
when I get in there, judges are like, remove your clothes, take everything off. Like they're so like eager to see you. Naked, right? So I'm like, well, what is the big fuss about this? Like that. So I'm like,
that's funny. Usually, we ask the guests if they've been to the sauna, and we've had some funny experiences. But anyway, so what are the interesting things that your Ghanaian family who hasn't traveled here or hasn't necessarily been to Asia, what do they find most interesting about your stay here, or about
especially like the food?
Yep.
You know, like when I tell them about how rice is like a staple dish here, like they get surprised because like
what's the staple at home? Potatoes?
I mean, it's
yam, cassava.
Yam, cassava. You know, we call it the tubers.
Plantain.
You know, like the tubers. Rice is also common, but not as common as here.
Okay.
Because here, I mean, like if you a normal cafeteria serves rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? But we're talking about eating rice like maybe 3-4 times in a week.
Oh, okay.
Then that's not even constant. Not the same white rice. I mean, like jollof or fried rice, or I mean, different, like way out. And then also, especially, I mean, my parents got really surprised about, I mean, like uncooked food or raw food in here. You know, the squid, the octopus, live octopus moving in the plate. And
I still haven't eaten that.
Yeah, so I was like, let's go to a Korean restaurant. You know, I wanted to give them the Korean experience. You know, but they were like, we ain't gonna try any raw things.
Shit,
you know, like we don't want to get our stomachs upset. So they were really surprised. You know, my cousin came from Denmark.
she was also not really into the Korean food, like I thought, because I've not been picky.
Yeah.
So I had never had a problem of like trying to find food for someone, because I was always caring for myself.
Yeah.
But when I had to host my cousin from Denmark, then I saw not everyone is pretty much used to food around here.
Not at all.
So, because I ordered chimdak and chicken and stuff, I didn't really know she hadn't been eating well until we went to a McDonald's, and she was just like, get it out. And when she found like
30 McNuggets.
yeah, when she found like the McDonald's was like maybe 15 minutes walk from home, she says, I'm gonna take a walk, and then she ends up going to McDonald's, without me knowing.
That's funny. That's what my parents did here. They said they're going for a walk at the university, and they went down to Mr. Pizza. And then we go for dinner and say, I'm just going to have a little bit. I'm not so hungry. And then after they went back to Canada, they all had stories about sneaking out to Dunkin' Donuts and Mr. Pizza and all. Every time my sister and brother-in-law went for a walk, or mom and dad, they were going to get some food somewhere.
Yeah, so it was like, so I started cooking for her, and then I saw she was enjoying the food.
Yeah.
Then I realized, no, it's a little bit much different.
Not everyone can adapt.
Yeah, I've been here for so long. So I ordered chimdak. I thought she was gonna be fine because it's just chicken, chicken and stuff. But it's
That's funny too. Growing up, my dad, I was a very picky eater growing up. Now I can eat anything, but growing up, he was always, you don't know unless you try it. You don't know unless you try it. He came here like, hey, Dad, try this. I don't know about that. Hey, come on, you gotta follow your own rules.
You don't
man.
know before you try
did that
it.
too, yeah.
Is there no raw dishes in no uncooked meat dishes in
Just bush meat.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been really used to the idea, of like nothing being. I mean, even when we cook, we make sure it's fully done.
Oh, dude, I can't. Other than a steak, which that have medium rare, right? Pork, I could never imagine eating that's almost not burned. I would like that fully cooked. But coming here, dude, they'll go fishing and you eat that fish right they'll
away,
slice it up right in front of you and you'll eat it.
Sushi was,
like you said, the sannakji, the live octopus literally crawling off of your plate. That scares the hell out of me. The raw horse.
Yeah, I mean, red meat. I was surprised I went for a buffet. I thought it was like some veggies. I took it with my rice, and then I had to spit out everything because I wasn't really used to eating raw red meat.
Jesus, yeah.
But the UK is one of my favorite dishes here. I mean, I love that.
I don't know if I've told the story before, but the first time I ate UK, that's raw beef for you guys listening at home. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna eat raw beef. I'll probably die, so I should write a letter to my family before I do it. And before we ate it, man, they cracked a raw egg on it.
Raw egg, sesame oil,
yeah, and then
delicious.
Do you know what I ate when I was at home?
So good.
I ate raw deer when I was at home. It was on a cracker. I mean, it was two tiny little things, but it was raw deer, and I thought, it's a good chance I'm going to die after eating this, but here I am. Anyways,
I want to ask you, did you ever eat cat in Ghana?
I mean, so what my granddad always says about meat is like,
meat is meat.
You never know, because when you're a kid, you don't know if they served it to you. Like my friends ended up eating dog here without knowing, and they were told, "Oh, we just gave you dog meat." They're like, "Okay,
well,
no problem."
Same.
Yeah, same.
It's like
same for me growing up.
Yeah, so I mean, like one time I chanced on like my brother and his friends, mostly his friends, they wanted to have an adventure, right? So no one had ever eaten like that before. So, but they just want to try. They were wild. They were like 19. I was like maybe 15 or something like that. I just chanced on them doing something illegally somewhere, and I'm like, what? And I saw them cooking, and I'm like, okay. But it looked illegal, right? Because they were hiding to do whatever they were doing, right?
They had a little fire going.
But they were illegally cooking a cat?
I mean, they didn't want. I mean, like they were cooking it.
Yeah,
they were cooking it somewhere. I mean, definitely my dad maybe would be mad. Or something like that if they find out something like that. So when I chanced upon them doing something like that, and then so it's like a bribe. They said, okay, we're gonna give you a piece of this meat if you don't say anything. You don't say anything. And I was like, okay, why not? So they told me to keep my mouth shut, and they gave me. Then later I realized, okay, this was what they were cooking, or this was why they were doing.
When you woke up with whiskers, you're like, that was a cat.
So now like pretty much. I mean, for like in Korea too, I have the same mindset. Like sometimes trying something once is enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
yeah.
the experience. Like
Yeah.
I just tried it once. That's okay. It's not
Yeah.
something like I would.
Well, when I was there, we used to go to a place called Duncan's in Osu, in Ghana, in Accra, and we used to go. And I mean, where I was out in Esiyama, and the chickens. I mean, there was no meat on the chickens. There was no meat on the goats. There was nothing for them to eat really. I mean, it was very. If you go to Accra, you could get anything. But we used to go to Duncan's and we'd get big stars for $1, and we'd sit outside drinking the big beers. And he had a barbecue, and he would make like shish kebabs, like meat kebabs. And I'd been there 5 or 6 times, and I'd devour them because there wasn't a lot of meat where we were. There was eggs and rice and fufu, and that's what we ate. And I remember-
What fufu's bread?
it's like a big ball of pizza dough.
Pizza dough.
It's a ball of pizza dough and soup.
I call it a dumpling without any fill in it.
Empty dumpling.
Yeah, empty.
Hollow dumpling.
Yeah, but it's filled with more dumpling flour.
It's a ball of pizza dough. So
In soup.
So you rip a piece off, you push a hole in it, and you scoop your soup
Oh,
juice
okay.
with it, and
Okay,
that's like
okay.
your spoon too.
Yeah, with a lot of meat.
Yeah. So anyways, I'd eaten there probably half a dozen times, and one of the last times they brought me in the back and showed me, and he was killing cats, and we were eating cat meat.
You didn't know.
No, but it was, tastes like chicken, smell like chicken, look like chicken. There was no reason for me to question it, right? I mean, same with the dog soup. I've eaten so many soups here. I didn't know the first couple of times that I'm eating dog soup. It's just another
Random
weird
soup,
Korean
yeah.
dish. Like my mother-in-law makes weird dishes all the time. It's never dog, but it's always weird. And they usually taste good. So like you, I mean, try it once. If you like it, eat it. But I can't blame anyone who's eaten one thing or another. When my dad came and he had tried some of the foods there, he said, God, you better not come home and look at those neighbors' cats there. You might get hungry.
Yeah, it goes back to what my granddad says, you never know, sometimes you might have eaten something.
Oh,
yeah. If you have they say what you don't know doesn't kill you,
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And until you're in a position of, life or death, you might eat anything.
That's a Korean proverb too. Eh? Not knowing is the best medicine.
not knowing, yeah.
But growing up with an Italian grandma who was close to us, if we ate dinner there, every Sunday was chicken. Sometimes it was
Pigeon chicken.
Dude, sometimes it was like the meat was like gray. Sometimes it really was chicken. Sometimes it would look like a steak. You don't question at a young age.
And that's what I think when I went there and they said bushmeat with rice. And I was like, what the hell is a bushmeat? That can be a monkey, it can be a meerkat, it can be anything. And that's what it was. It was just whatever they caught in the bush that day.
Oh.
You don't have bushmeat anymore?
I mean, technically it's like grass cutter. That's what I know.
Grass cutter, yeah.
Grass cutter.
What is grass cutter?
It's a
Hedgehog?
a bigger family of like let's say bigger than a hedgehog,
Yeah.
like a porcupine, maybe.
Like a rodent, a
Yeah,
large
rodent.
rodent.
Like a beaver?
rodent.
Without the tail?
Close,
Yeah, okay.
close to. And they cut the grass with your teeth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like that. So that's why you call it.
And you
But-
cut that
But
with
if
a
they
knife.
didn't find any grass cutter today, it might be the monkey or whatever else they did find, and that's why it's called bushmeat. But yeah, I just stopped asking and just ate whatever was there.
I find it so hypocritical at home. Again, I don't know if we've discussed this, but before I just went on vacation, I know the big news here was that they were shutting down the dog meat market in Busan, and I find it a little bit hypocritical how the Western countries will look over and say, "Oh, how do you eat a dog? How do you eat this and that?" Meanwhile, I mean, they're eating all the farm or not just farm animals, but I mean
Inhumanely raised animals.
well, what's the word I'm looking for? The factory farmed animals. No one, as far as I know, no one's checking where did the steak come from.
Yeah.
You're getting the Costco ground up,
Yeah.
ground beef. Who knows where that comes from? And I just find it very hypocritical how we can look over and go, "Oh, how dare you eat a dog? How dare you?" Meanwhile, you're eating these inhumanely raised animals. I don't want to say go 100% is meat, but Koreans, the people who are generally eating the dog are probably the older generation.
Sure it is.
And,
Absolutely.
And in a war-torn country, if you grew up eating that, who are you to say stop eating it?
You can't take
But it wasn't
at
that
a-
long ago in our countries that pigeons and sparrows were regular fare. And here's a picture of my father-in-law and my daughter's on the farm. He was catching pigeons last weekend for soup. And he catches sparrows too. That's a pigeon on a rope.
How did he get it?
He's got traps out on the farm, man. He makes homemade traps. He gets big nets and poles, and he baits them in with some feed from the chicken coop. They go in. He pulls the poles out. The net goes down. He catches them, and he keeps them like that.
Dude,
he ties the rope around there because he doesn't want. He wants them fresh, so you keep them alive. But when I was at the refugee camp, it was the same. The local Ghanaians around the camp, they would take me out. And they would show me catching cockroaches. Yeah. And they said, but I'm not hungry right now, so I'm not going to eat them. And there wasn't a huge source of protein. So they would catch them. And what would they do? Take their legs off and put them under a rock. And they say, Madingo, this is my fridge. And when I'm hungry, I come lift up the rock and I get a cockroach.
For real?
Yeah, for real. I can show you pictures of them. Absolutely for real.
That's wild.
And they said if you kill them, then they're not going to be good when you want to eat them. You take the legs off, they can't run away, but they don't die. Come back in 3, 4, or 5 hours. I want it. I got a snack.
It's funny if you're full, if you're full enough, if you have enough food that you're judging other countries based on what they're eating, I think you have other problems you should be solving.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that traveling or being outside, I mean, has opened my eyes. I mean, you can never tell, never tell unless you've been in a situation,
Absolutely.
You can never judge from being outside, because I've been here. I technically don't want to judge because some people see dogs, I mean, as a pet. Some people see it as food. Some people,
but you can respect both.
Yeah, like,
both of them.
I understand it's an intelligent species. People connect with them. That's family. That's family for some people. And I'm not advocating to open a chain of McDonald's restaurants.
McDonald's restaurant,
No, not at all.
Yeah, but we can judge people who
absolutely,
who want
and if that's the case, there's 1.4 people in India who don't eat cows.
Yeah. I mean,
so then what?
That's the crazy one.
What do they think? I mean,
now
the cows are sacred there. Or do they think we're all crazy in the West? Well, no, but you gotta be understanding. And traveling opened your eyes, and you become more understanding and accepting of people. That's why I think it's a good education.
Like now Peter advocating, like don't kill the animals, cows are friends, and all the other stuff. Everyone has, their reserved ideology about what should be eaten and what shouldn't be eaten. But I think if everyone is able to keep an open mind and not being, judgmental about that, then we can all live in harmony. If you want to be a vegetarian, fine. I wouldn't judge you if you want to be vegan.
Don't ruin my
don't
steak
judge
dinner,
my
man.
status too. Yeah, like that.
You don't build pipes like this with.
We only cups, man. You need some protein. So yeah.
Did you ever eat chicken bones growing up?
Yeah, man.
What do you mean? By accident?
No.
No, inside the bone, we got the
bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
That's
yeah,
protein, protein.
So you snap it and just suck it out?
Yeah, suck it out like that. So I think there's been healthy benefit. Also from without.
Now I got a question. What about eating chicken in Korea? Do you eat the bones?
Depends. How full I am, or the mood in which I
feel like sucking tonight.
Yeah. So these days I tend to eat a lot of chicken breast, because I just want the whole meat. So and then just less fat and stuff.
So when my father came to visit and we had fried chicken, which usually you can find in any town or village. It's not a lot of meat, but we got the fried chicken and we ate it. And we had a big pile of bones. And the cartilage or the tendons, the rough stuff we kind of leave on the ends or whatever. And slowly, part because we were O'Brunies and part because, we were eating chicken. But the kids started coming and coming and coming, more and more. And then they were just waiting for us to finish. And as soon as we finished, they were fist fighting over eating the bones. Because but that's why
wild,
I say even he's from a middle class, upper class family?
Middle class.
And he's eating the bones because the marrow is protein and that's what you're taught, that's what you know. But and so I did it too when I was living there. But that's why I wonder about you guys eating chicken here. I'm sure you probably don't do it here most of the time.
Yeah, because there's a lot of chicken also. When you order a box or something like that. Sure. So that's why I said depends on the mood. Just for fun or something like that. Because you can be KFC is when you go to KFC you got a whole a box now. After 9 p.m. they do the 1+1. If you say you're gonna be eating all the bones,
Extra bones.
you're gonna be so full by the time. And one thing, like I realized that there's the chicken feet restaurant here, right?
Yeah.
Like back at home I could eat, but now I haven't brought myself to be able to go, to
chicken
eat
feet
the
here?
chicken feet, even though many people have recommended it,
Right.
and I'm trying to.
I have the same the same problem. My wife will go a couple times a year, meet her friends, and what are you having tonight? Like with hungry eyes, I don't know, like chicken feet.
Yeah.
That
It's
image,
a really big
that,
deal here, right?
That
You know?
image
they
in my
love it,
head
yeah.
of like a yellow claw just hanging out there.
Which is quite funny because for how clean and whatever the Koreans pretend they are, that's the dirtiest two parts I can think. The pig's feet and the chicken feet. And they just love both of them.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
I
saying.
take
like,
the breast and some back bacon any day.
everyone so everyone gets like, so yeah, once you just find out like related also with culture and like
Sure.
just the mood feeling, when you brought up eating something, you get used to it.
Yeah.
It becomes no problem for you to. You never have second thoughts about it. I'm sure if I was brought up eating dog meat, I wouldn't. Judge all people like like. But it's different. Some parts there are people who eat this differently. There are people who eat this differently.
Craziest thing I've seen eaten here. My father-in-law, I'm not kidding you, man. He ate, dude, raw pheasant. I had not like 119 dial. I was just waiting to hit the emergency button there. He ate a raw pheasant. Do you know pheasant? Guang? Like the bird.
Yeah, I saw.
First of all,
yeah.
other than chicken, I just assume that any bird I'm eating has some disease
And
and
that's
I'm
how,
gonna die.
that's how we're brought up.
Yeah,
right?
it's,
the pheasant eggs are the quail eggs, they're very popular here. They're a side dish at all the meat
Dude, he ate a
restaurants.
raw pheasant meat, uncooked. Oh, dude, oh my God, that's mind blowing.
My
I
father-in-law
thought
has
that's instant death, man.
My father-in-law has a good trick. Brian was exposed to it once. He always says, "Do you want to go to the samgyetang, the chicken, the full chicken soup restaurant?"
yeah.
But every time we get there, the chicken's sold out, and there's only dog soup left. Every time we go, and he says, chicken soup. Okay, yeah, I love samgyetang.
Oh, sorry, no
Sure.
chickens.
Oh, the chickens are okay. Dad, just get whatever. Okay, and he gets 3 dog soups, and then he.
Oh, listen, this is before we had children, and Nate had the pressure on him. Hey, you're married, time to have kids, and I said openly like, hey, I heard the dog soup. But, it might help you.
Important.
Might help you to give you some power and help you have a
Yeah,
kid.
they say that.
It makes boys.
Yeah, it makes boys. And we said
Couldn't be anything further from the truth.
I got
2 girls.
Maybe you didn't eat enough, man.
Exactly, and
That's what they'll say. Yeah.
dude, I was a little bit
Didn't eat
skeptical. I was skeptical, so I asked the owner of the restaurant. I said, "Lady, I heard this gives you power. Is it true?" She goes, "Absolutely." Me being a smartass, I go, "Oh, yeah." How many kids do you have? I have 5. And I went, "Oh shit, really? You got 5 kids?" I'm like, "All right, I got to one up you again. How many boys do you have?" 5. And I went, "Oh, 2 more soups." There we go.
That's why he keeps bringing me here.
Jesus.
So after about 4 or 5 times, I caught on to his trick there, and I would just go to either appease him or I would say, "Listen, I know they're not going to have it. Let's go somewhere else for noodles." But he must have tried me 5-6 times before I figured out that every time they were sold out. I just thought they had really good chicken soup, and they were always sold out.
Dude, there should be a game show at home. Like,
man,
are you gonna eat the dog soup or the raw pheasant? If you eat any of them,
You've
you
been
win.
tricked, man.
Now I got 2 beautiful girls, and the dog soup place is closed now, and I don't know. Didn't work.
Fear factor's clearly
They're gonna
not.
say you didn't eat enough, man.
not
Yeah, man, definitely you didn't eat enough. Yeah.
wonderful. What for people coming over here, for Ghanaians coming over here, what would you
Or African students in general. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of now. Even UNIST has some from a few other countries.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
what advice would you give young kids coming over here before? Something you wish you had known, or a piece of advice that you'd like to instill in the young hopefuls coming from Africa?
I mean, I think this might be pretty useful for anyone going anywhere. I mean, before you migrate or before you settle in, first of all, you must clear your mind of anything, especially you've read from the internet or you've seen in the movies or you've seen on TV,
No expectations.
Yeah, you have to learn to unlearn and begin to learn.
That's one of the that's something. Sorry, you're still younger, much younger than. It's weird, man. I've always been the youngest in the group, and there's so many young guys coming out now. But
I can't believe you're 26. I still think you're like 22, man.
But that's something as I grow older that I find is a very helpful or very useful skill is unlearning some things that I've thought to be gospel, to be absolutely 100% true, and unlearning those things and starting again is one of the best things
you know, because everyone, you know, coming here, people are going to tell you, you know, everyone has different experience living in Korea. You know, some people come here for a year and they can't take it and they go. If you talk with them, maybe they're going to tell you, oh man, the Koreans are unfriendly or like that. The food is bad or anything, right? So if you come in and you listen to advice from someone like that, it's going to be, you know, different. It's going to change your perception, right? And if you listen to advice from someone who's lived here for over 20 years, it's like, oh, I'm used to the food. Koreans are nice and that. Like, absolutely. So it's going to give you different thought. But before, like, just come here with an open mind, you know. No, like, prejudice or anything about, like, the people here. Yeah. Just experience it for yourself.
Bunch of dog soup eating assholes.
And then make your own opinion or make your own, you know, formulate everything like you
that's a very good perspective to have,
so then that's the first step, you know, when you learn to unlearn and then forget about everything, expectations or whatever you're doing, because even in Korea, I mean, Ulsan might be different from Busan and Seoul, you know.
Absolutely they are, right? I mean, you guys learned that.
I mean, I went to the countryside for like 4 months. I mean, I went to study Korean, and this place is called Nonsan, you know, and I think many foreigners, you know, no one really knows. Like I wanted to do a vlog and show like the part of Korea that they never show you. You know? Because if you come in, first thing when I got Korea, I got into a Korean university. I went to the internet and Googled Korea. You know, I was curious and I added Korean girls. You know, what they're gonna show you? Google Korean girls on Google, and then like what they're gonna show you might be different, a whole lot different from what you're gonna see here. You know, like when you watch the drama, you see the girls get crazy over K-pop stars. Like the guys, like they're like, oh, there's the perfect guy. You know, you have to really unlearn, because like, so when I was in Nongsan, it's totally countryside. The bus stop is like 1 kilometer or 2 away. You know, there's no numbers that show when the bus is coming. The bus passes there like 9 times in a day. That's it. It's all countryside. All the people there, I'm sure most of the people who live there haven't even been to Seoul or something like that. You know, it's just the farm field. It's just like the traditional life. You know, like used to like less technology. You know, like So it's like every place is different.
You also lived out in the country at the university. I mean That's one of the most isolated, remote universities. And
I thought UNIST was countryside till I went to this place. And then, like, that's where you see a cow. Like, there's a cow farm literally next to the school, you know. Like, you don't really see where they make all this, like, the beef or, right? But when you go see where all the strawberries coming from, where all the rice is coming from. Like, you get it. Like, it's nature. That's how Korea was, like, before, you know, this rapid advancement.
60 years ago or 70 years ago.
I saw the buildings, like, the local made from mud and clay. And the people still live in your old people like 60, 70 still farming, you know, how they live long, you know, like no technology or like less technology or something like that. So someone like you might end up being there on your first year in Korea, you know, so it's going to give you a different perception, perspective about Korea. And then if you be in Seoul too, it's different. You're like, hey man, this is a party night all you know, all the weekend. We go to the clubs, drink until morning, you know.
And they never leave.
You go to the countryside, you can't even find the closest like E-Mart. There was like, you know, like it was really, so I had no option than to stay over in school, you know, like. And then if I got a free bus to Daejeon, I go to Daejeon over the weekend.
Well, I think I could tell when I would see you guys at school on Mondays if you guys went to Busan or not, just on how big your smiles were. Because going to Busan was the big city compared to here. And I mean, it's all perspective, right? Yeah,
so it depends on where you are. So I mean, like unlearning is the first step, you know, and then anywhere you go, you have to try as much as possible. One thing I regret is not really getting involved in the language at a very early stage, you know.
Still regretting that after 12 years.
You know, you can do away with, depending on what you do, you can do away with our Korean, you know, like you can do away with Korean, like you don't need to really learn Korean to be able to survive here. Yeah. But then, it aids you and helps you a lot. Wherever you go, if you plan staying longer, you have to accept the culture, assimilate, and then if you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do, right? Yeah. I found a lot of hacks being able to know Korean,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
People are more open to it.
Yeah,
right?
before I used the bus system where I have to go and charge it every time, at the convenience store.
Yeah.
So when you run out of it, you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, then I found out there was like a postpaid bus card that I can like pay at the end of the month, just goes out from my account.
Yeah.
Like that. Many like.
Little
Life hacks,
things.
yeah.
life
Yeah,
hacks,
like coupon was all in Korean, right? And then if I see something in Korean, I'm like, I'm not gonna
Next,
use it.
yeah.
But they were the ones that had the rocket shipping. They bring it to your doorstep next day. I want to eat peanut butter for breakfast next day. Like, I order it 11:55 p.m. and in the morning by 12,
It's on your toast.
I can use it.
Beautiful. Yeah,
That's the benefit of, learning.
you can't bring that
language.
rocket service to Ghana? Jeez.
Yeah, in the future, yeah, definitely. We're thinking about doing certain stuff like that.
3 bushmeat skewers.
Yeah, fast delivery system. So yeah, second, you gotta, if you learn language, culture, learn to
Yeah.
adapt, assimilate,
It's being open-minded and
Yeah.
willing to, like you said, willing to adapt to your new environment and not being. My first year here, it's amazing that I stayed so positive, but a lot of my coworkers didn't enjoy
Yeah.
their work, the food, and it was constantly like, I hate this job, I hate this, I hate that, this food, oh, I'm tired of the food. And I always wonder, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What's so much better at
That's-
home that you left to come here,
That's always my thought when someone complains, if you don't like where you are,
Get
just
out.
move.
Beat it.
Yeah, you're not a tree,
No one's forcing you.
Yeah, because I
You're not a tree.
in as much as Korea is not heaven, or like a haven for anything, I hate people who complain.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things to complain about. No problem.
This is not
yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of things to complain about. But if you don't like it, just go.
Yeah.
Go to where you wouldn't complain.
Yeah. And you
But
know
the
what?
problem is most of those people will complain anywhere they go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's
When I had a few, without saying too many details, I had a few eye-opening experiences back home, where you hear about a situation from abroad and you go there and you see it firsthand and you go, what, you're complaining about what? Your problem? This is your problem? Oh my god! And it's shocking to see the in what 99.999% of the world would view as absolutely optimal living conditions. People can find that 0.0001%
problem, yeah.
But
that's
that's not traveling. That's not getting out and seeing. That's why I said I would love to make or establish a fund that made every Canadian kid go to a third world country in high school, so they gain some appreciation and perspective on life and how lucky they are and how fortunate they are to be in these situations. But it's all
I think that's one thing that has also helped me a lot, because I've grown up in diverse conditions, and I know how it's one of the requirements to actually survive in life. I always say that I've been lucky, because with the mindset I have, I'm able to thrive anywhere because of what I've been through, what I've seen.
The pipes don't hurt.
Yeah, and where I've been, sometimes
Adaptability.
I say that if Koreans, especially those in the university, have the opportunity to be somewhere else, to encounter what it is to be like them, because some people complain like this is that, this is that. But if you're in a situation where you had no other option, you would find a way through.
Absolutely.
You would find a way
that's it.
through.
And
I
that's
think
survival,
sometimes,
right?
we get so comfortable, like we used to. I find that people who complain are just comfortable. They want things to be the same from where they are coming from.
Absolutely, yeah.
But this is the world. This is life. This is nature.
And
You
I think
can't
it's
expect-
necessary. These days we can go to the market and buy food so easy. We almost have to create your own struggle, your own not problems, but your own struggle. Maybe is the word I'm looking for. In life, to you need some hardships to work through. Without this, what are you living for? What are you overcoming? Is your life goal to like, oh, I'm on the couch, I'm gonna watch Netflix for 8 hours today and not lift a finger? This isn't life, man. You gotta experience, you gotta overcome. And those, the longer the goal, or the harder the challenge that you set for yourself, the bigger the reward. This is like old knowledge, man. If you want to, if your goal is to lose 2 kilograms, or if your goal is to lose 50 kilos, after you've lost 50, you're going to feel like you've accomplished more, man. That's the
I was going to say a little bit ironic at home, like talking about the people, the foreigners here, and it's toxic online, and people jump on so fast. They complain about Korean, bash Korea all the time. It's toxic online. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But at home, I mean, people are complaining about lots. Look at right now in the States and in Canada. I mean, growing up, we always used to say, how come the taxi drivers can't speak English? They all speak, Hindi or Punjabi or, no, not French. But usually it was either East Indians and they own the taxi companies in a lot of cases. So, and I remember people would complain about that. And I thought, but that's the same people that come here and complain that the Koreans don't understand their English. And it doesn't matter where they go. I mean, you always find something to whine or complain about.
I worked in a restaurant. We used to, I probably jumped in at some point, but a lot of the older workers tourists would come in, whether they're Asian tourists, I don't know if Chinese, Japanese, whatever. And tipping is not part of the culture.
Yeah.
These goddamn tourists come in here. They don't leave a tip. They don't speak the language. Yeah, of course. Well, you expect them to learn English? They come here for 2 weeks?
And then the only reason you got a job, because they keep coming.
Absolutely. It's funny.
But that's I can't stand when people don't even make an effort to assimilate a little bit. And that's why I say all the guys going into the States, I don't want to get political, but I mean, they want to work hard. Those guys aren't going there for a free ride. They're going there to work hard. They're going there out of desperation.
Yeah, most of them are the ones that are actually, so when you're in the state, you find out that, mostly it's an immigrant that, to be honest, that built the country.
Sure.
In the labs, you're going to find, Indians, Asians, Africans there who work their ass off, my language to do that. Yeah, it reminds me, when I was going back to Ghana, I knew I'm not going to get the same conditions here as before when I was going for vacation. So I tried to set my mind, okay, don't be expecting too much.
Yeah.
For example, like I was used to 4G here, LTE and stuff. I know I'm gonna get 3G back at home. Someone considered that, because I remember before coming here, like I was using 3G and it was okay for me.
Yeah.
So when I was going back, I'm like, don't expect like things to be too
Lightning
constant.
speed,
When I came, like when the light went off, like my ex-girlfriend was surprised. She called me, damn, the light just went off for like 1 minute or 2 minutes.
The light off.
I'm so scared, and I'm like, really?
Blackouts.
Yeah,
all the
like
time.
just blackout, so because growing back at home, I mean, there could be times like 24 hours, like
With no electricity?
the light just goes off because
okay.
they want to reserve it, like, and they shut it. Like Mugudong gets light for 1 week, and then for another 2 days they're off, and then Guyongni gets it like that. So like so now it's like reverse culture shock. Going back, I don't want to also complain. Like, why is the internet not fast? Like that.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I must be getting old, because when I was in Ghana, we were on dial-up.
What's that?
That, like the
Internet
phone internet.
Yeah.
3G, holy man, you can do anything now.
Yeah. And now they have 4G, and
Awesome.
so it's like
Wild, man.
Good. Lots of opportunity. Yeah. So, maybe one before we close out here.
Yeah.
If you were the president in Ghana, what would you change? What would you do?
Surprisingly, I was just thinking about this yesterday. No, actually, so I met up with this professor who really thought, like, when we were talking, like, I found, like, he said, like, okay, I'm not going to take you into my lab unless you're going to do something. Unless you have a goal, for your country, like, I want people who are going to go back and, do things.
Wow.
That's the problem we have. And, like, just this week, there was, like, the parliamentarians, they wanted to build a chamber where they're gonna rest. It was costing $200 million to build that chamber.
Jeez.
When you think about and then a hospital needs 84 million to finish up and then be put in use.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I was just talking with my friends yesterday. You know what? Now I just want to go back and run for presidency.
Yeah.
I want to go back and change stuff, because I feel like now, so people fought it and then they won, so they canceled the project. But this is what they brought out to the public, And imagine what is going, behind closed doors, the funds that are being embezzled and stuff. And then before then, 10, 20 years ago, many people didn't care because a lot of people weren't that maybe educated or interested in politics, right? And now I find out like taking huge loans that the country is going to be in debt for like 20 to 30 years. And so I'm saying, no. So many people outside right now studying, they've got the skills, they've got the know-how, right? So I'm like, I think I should go back and then get into not mainly politics, but try to do something, put the country in the right, track. So the first thing I say, if I'm president, I mean, focus is going to be on education.
I think that's how Korea got themselves out
when
of,
I came here, I saw like Korea. I mean, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, Ghana was richer than Korea. We gave them a loan, when they were in there, like after the Korean War, they were kind of poor. Like Kwame Nkrumah gave them a loan, and then fast track to 50 years later,
the gap is
really
wide,
wide. So I just studied like the Semaundong, like whatever they did. So it's one of the reasons I actually came here also to learn the system. What did they do different? Singapore, Malaysia, those countries, what did they do different from way back at home in Africa? All boils down to leadership, investing in education, uneducated people. Korea doesn't have enough resources like that. We have the gold, we have bauxite, we have everything. They have the human, they have the human resources. They invest in the intelligence of the people, science, bring out project, import, and then they work on it. So if I'm gonna invest especially in science and technology, science education, in that, and then also on the road networks, because that's one major problem we have in back. We have the resources, we can transport them to places where they need to be. So, and then also in agriculture, I just found like we are really privileged to have everything being able to grow back at home.
Provide for yourselves.
I just came here and I saw
self-sustainability.
I was like, banana can grow here. I was so surprised, they have to import banana, because back at home it's in my backyard. When I want banana, I can go and then just plug it and then just eat it. So I find that we are really privileged. So if we invest in agriculture enough to feed ourselves, we can have enough to also to export to other countries. And then we have like a really good weather, like the food can grow, rain and every other thing, channel all these resources and then make a lot of, like good stuff from it. So first focus is going to be on education, and then transportation. We waste a lot of time because our road networks are not good. And then agriculture, the three main priorities like for that.
So when are you going to run? What year?
Maybe 2042. Just ramp a lot of experience, and then make sure the population is educated enough to choose wisely. Because if
that's what you need. You need an educated population.
Because there are two main political parties in Ghana, just like the Democrats and the Republicans. So I'm planning to stand as an independent candidate. To have that, it means you have to be able to have the whole country on your side.
Absolutely.
Because you either have to run with the Democrats or the Republicans to be able to be president, right? It's very hard to go independent. So I'm thinking like get the people educated, so I'm thinking in the next 10, 20 years, people would be educated enough to know what policies are very good for them.
Use that to position yourself.
Would
that be President Kofi or Kwame or what's your
President J?
What's your Ghanaian name?
Echo.
Echo.
Yeah, Thursday born.
Yeah, I like President J better.
What do you mean?
You get a name
Biney,
based on.
Yeah, so every Ghanaian has a unique name, that tells which day you were born, depending on what tribe you come from.
So my name's Kwame.
Yeah, if he says Kwame, I know he was born on Saturday.
Yeah. Why is that significant?
That doesn't matter. This is the culture.
Oh, okay.
It's
Monday is Kojo, Tuesday is Kwame, Wednesday is Echo, Thursday is every
Echo.
day.
Yeah,
you're an Echo.
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah, me too.
You Thursday?
Come on,
I'm an Echo. I swear to God.
When they asked me, I was like, why the heck would I know what day I'm born on? Right? And they said, you don't know the day you're born? I said,
I was
why?
born on a Wednesday.
I said, why would I? How would I ever know?
I don't know why I know that, but
I mean, just like your blood type in Korea. Nobody knows the blood type. Like, most foreigners don't have any idea when they ask us what our blood type. They're shocked. But, yeah, and Ablema, Akuba,
like that. It's
Akwesi.
I think it's also, I mean, it's not for tribalism or anything, but like there is nothing Ghanaian about my first name, Jeshurun,
Right.
and nothing Ghanaian about my last name, Biney. But if I say my middle name, anyone who hails from Ghana is going to know, oh, he's Ghanaian.
What's that?
Echo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they know like, oh, it's a Ghanaian.
So when I hear Kofi Annan, it's boom, he's Ghanaian.
Oh, okay.
Because Kofi is a Friday born or whatever. So
Yeah, so you're able to tell, and then which tribe or which section of Ghana he comes from
cool.
based on the middle name.
Cool.
I think it's pretty much good.
the first thing they ask you is, what day are you born on? What's your name? I say,
Yeah,
my
then
name's
they-
Nate. No,
then
what's
they-
your other name?
Then they make a name
What are
for
you
you
talking
based on what day you
Monday.
were born.
Do you find
Let me check.
with Koreans, if they're born in the same year, then often, I mean, they can find a closer friendship, right? There's a very distinct. If you're born 1 year older, do you find you can have a closer bond with someone who is born on a Wednesday? Kind of like I mean,
Only if they got pipes like me.
no, but is that? Do you feel any closeness, or like we're a group, or that's a certain section of people you belong to, or are you
Wednesdays, all the echoes go out for beers or what?
yeah, Wednesday,
No.
Wednesday
no.
wing night.
No, really.
No.
But maybe yeah. For the opposite sex, maybe you might find out like, oh,
She's an echo.
yeah, like
Okay.
The magazines are gonna say echoes go well with ablemas.
yeah, or
and
something like
kojos
that.
with
Like there might be
akubas
some,
and
like, just like
if she echoes, that's probably not a good.
yeah, just like I mean like
Aquarius, Cancer,
Cancer,
Capricorn,
like
that
that,
stuff.
like that,
Sure.
like yeah, astronomy, like that.
okay.
We were just gonna go.
Cool, very nice. Listen, dude, you
We gotta get you back on.
for 26 years old, you're thinking like a
Wise beyond your years.
I don't want to say 50-year-old grandpa, but like a very
Yeah, because
You
I'm
got-
almost 50.
dude. You have the
Really?
No. 39.
just looks like it. Your perspective on and views on life and culture and travel and just in general, man, you have a very good outlook. You have a very bright future in my perspective, and again, I
I was just
really
hoping
hope
it'd be before 2042 so our podcast would take off.
Yeah,
dude, run next year. Remember, we had him first. We had him first.
yeah. I hope this record, I mean, goes in a long way. I mean, like in the
Absolutely.
future.
No, listen, I'm going to edit it to say like Nate and Brian will be vice president.
No, predictor. Like the Simpsons predicted the future. Nate and Brian predicted the future of Ghana with the president
No,
Oh,
don't.
Bruni, vice president.
20 years before he even stood for it.
But anyways, man, listen, you have an absolutely very bright future. You're a great ambassador for the young Africans who are here. I hope, as you said, the new people coming in look to the people who are already here, and I think you're very positive and can be a good role model for those guys coming in. I want to thank you very much for taking a bus down here and giving us some of your time.
It was nice. I mean, it was nice being on here also. I mean, to talk.
You haven't
about
heard the
it.
final edit yet. Don't throw it. No, I'm joking. But yeah, dude, thank you very much, and we hope.
I'd love to have you back one time. Sure.
Yeah, I think there's still lots of things to discuss. So,
Next time we'll bring in a big Omo 2 for the middle here. And
Yeah, man, we're gonna have
an
some
Omo 2-0?
culture.
Is that an arm
that'll be
wrestle?
on the next one.
Okay. Well,
I think Nate is still in love with Ghana. We gotta send him
I
back.
love that stuff.
no
Yeah, we
doubt.
gotta send Nate back.
Part of my heart's still stuck there, man.
Yeah, you gotta go for
That was
vacation
awesome.
with Gina and the kids.
The
Yeah.
babies. All right, guys. Listen, thanks very much. We'll see you next episode. Goodbye.